Erica back on the Altenew YouTube channel. Hello! Today we are going to have a look at the beautiful Blossoming Bouquet product suite. So it has a whole bunch of different products and they're all in this pile right here. We are going to have a quick look. So first off we have a press plate and a coordinating die cut. Whoop whoop for that. There is also coordinating layering stencils, which is going to make added color a breeze. And finally, we have a 3D embossing folder. So there's 4 products, all super versatile and, obviously planned to work with each other. We are going to start by using the embossing folder because, we are going to do all about the texture and the layers today. So we are going to run this through our die cutting machine with 2 different pieces of paper. So one is going to be our card base, and we are also going to do another one which we are going to add some color to using the layering stencils. But first off, we're going to run these through. So I'm going to be using some Nina because I like how bright white it is, and I also like that it's quite sturdy. So the one that we're going to do the coloring, the ink blending on, we're going to cut that out and we're going to prop that up with a bit of instant dimension foam tape for that luscious texture and dimension. So first off here, the first piece we're going to do quite sort of, I want to say not straight, but so we want to try to get as much of the pattern in on the panel as possible. So I'm actually going to put the paper in like a bit of an angle here. And then we're going to run this through our die cutting machine. And this bit that's sticking out, don't worry about that, because whichever one comes out the nicest is going to be the card base. And then the one that, if there's like a little bit of bending or folding, then we're going to use that one to add our ink blending on. So we're going to confirm with our die cutting machine which sandwich we're going to use. So I have the Platinum 6. So it actually says on the basis which ones you need for a embossing folder sandwich. So make sure you check before you try to run anything through your die cutting machine so that you don't break it. And we're going to have a little quick reveal. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, stunning. And that little corner there, not too bad at all. And this is just beautiful. So that I think is going to be our card base. Now we're going to do the second piece. We're going to do kind of the same thing, but this time we're going to try to get as much of like the flower on rather than just try to get, the pattern in. And there was a little smudge on the first side. That's why I turned it over. So make sure you check your paper before you run it through. And we're going to do the same thing here. We're just going to pop that onto our sandwich. We're going to run it through and then we're going to admire this gorgeous texture just one more time. Now, I am slightly obsessed. Okay, totally obsessed. I am totally obsessed with these 3D embossing folders. I have been using embossing folders for quite a while, but then I just kind of got a little bit sick of them, to be honest, because I didn't feel like I was getting great results. Now, these ones, on the other hand, so good. Apparently, I managed to smudge the paper as well, so I've rubbed off a little bit using one of those like eraser things. And this is now going to be our piece that we're going to cut out. So we're going to add the first layering stencil, and I'm going to secure it with a little bit of post-it tape. And we're going to get some luscious colors out. I decided to go for kind of like a morning glory kind of look here. So we're going to have a little bit of purple, and then we're going to add in a little bit of blue. And we're also going to probably have a little bit of yellow, like for the stamen in the middle. And obviously we're going to need a little bit of green for our leaves. But we are going to start with a little bit of wisteria ink. So we're going to go quite soft here. So we're going to try to build up a little bit of like depth and dimension. So we're going to add a little bit of dusk blue. This is probably one of my favorite blue inks ever. It is so gorgeous and it works amazingly beautiful with that wisteria ink as well. It just blends in perfect and it just looks amazing. Now I did forget to add the little petal here, so with the layering stencils you have to kind of be just a little bit careful so that you don't get anything outside your pattern. So we're gonna cover up the ones that we don't actually, that we don't want to get color on. Here, because I'm using the mini ink blending tools, it's not that difficult to get the color where you actually want it, but sometimes you forget to add the color in all of the places, so you just go back and add it again. Now on some of these, I would actually, if you want a real sort of big detail, like, the kind of the contrast and, depth and detail and things like that, you might want to like just maybe go in. So you do the first layer of the whole flower, and then you leave it to dry a little bit, and then you go in and just add a little bit more ink in some places, just to kind of get that really fine like detail to it. But oh, these two colors, oh my goodness, they just look stunning together, I must admit. Wisteria and Dusk Blue. Oh, probably my new kind of like favorite color combination for flowers. It looks so good. This is gonna look amazing with any type of like hydrangea as well. For our leaves, we are gonna go in with Mossy Meadow, and we're gonna go in with another ink blending tool. We're just gonna put that color down, and then we're gonna add a little bit of other greens just to, bring in those, details. So with layering stencils, they're great. I love them, super obsessed with them. But it can be a little bit not flat at times. Sometimes you just have to kind of think about getting those details in. And one way to do that is to grab a small ink blending tool, like one of the micro brushes and things like that. And you just go like around the edges a little bit, to kind of like bring in that kind of contrast and the depth, And also, don't be afraid to experiment with colors, because sometimes something that you think is not going to work with a layering stencil turns out to be the icing on the cake. Honestly, they're so fun. They're so versatile. They are, cheap, and they take up hardly any space in your crafting space as well. So all bonuses, I think, for layering stencils. I think actually, if I had to choose between a stamp and layering stencils, especially with the 3D embossing folders, I think I would go for the layering stencils, because there's just so many things you can do with them, and they are so quick and easy to use, especially like when you're in a hurry and you need to get a card done like really, really fast. You cannot beat layering stencils for adding colors, for sure, hands down. Now, so we've gone in with a little bit more green here, and we want to, we're going to go in with a darker to do this whole thing that I said about, adding some kind of like depth and details. And I'm going to be using one of the micro blending brushes. They're so cute. And we're going to go in just around the kind of edge here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit just so that you see what I mean. And you can kind of see like where it's kind of bringing in that life to the leaf, because, nothing except for like, I was going to say nothing in nature is like perfectly uniform, but that's not true, is it? However, to bring in like a bit of life to these leaves, I this is something that I really like doing, and it doesn't take that much longer, but it just makes such a difference, and it really kind of brings you like dimension without any die cutting, without any embossing folders, without anything like that. It just yes, big fan. Honestly, I should be a spokesperson for layering stencils. I am such a big fan of them. But anyway, we're going to get back here and we're going to finish off this ink blending here. So we are going to just keep on adding the color where we feel like it. And also sometimes, because, the ink will need a little bit of time to dry. So if you feel like, I'm going with a little bit too much, this is too much. Just step back, let it dry, let it settle, and then go back and see if you still feel like it's too much. Obviously, if you still feel it's too much, there's nothing you can do about taking the color off, but you could try to like add one of the lighter colors to kind of blend it in a little bit more. But look at that. I mean, such a simple thing to do, and it just makes those leaves pop. Right, the last layer we are going to speed up a little bit because otherwise we will be here all day and we still have more to do. So I am gonna do the same thing here. I'm gonna put down one layer of ink first and then I'm gonna go in with a darker to bring in those like details. And then we're gonna do the final layer, which is like the little stems and veins of the leaves, branches. Yeah, but this is our final results, and I think we can all agree that that looks way better than if you just kind of smack on the color on one layer. So we just have one final little thing to do, and that is adding the yellow in the middle of our flowers, and we're going to do that right now with a little bit of fresh lemon. And then on top of this, we are going to go in with a little dabbing of a little bit of amber rose with a tiny micro blending brush. And the reason we're going to do this is just to get a little bit more kind of, so it's going to be more 3D rather than 2D. So although I should have let this dry a little bit more in between, but anyway, this is our final ink blending result, and oh, it just looks stunning if I may say so myself. And it takes hardly any time whatsoever. And now we're gonna cut this out with the coordinating die cut. And big props to Altenew for including coordinating die cuts with the 3D embossing folders and also the layering stencils, because I am not a fussy cutting type gal. No, not at all. Now, the second panel that we did with the embossing folder, I thought, you know what? This is going to be super fun to have as a background to bring in that luscious texture. And I'm going to put some of the Instant Dimension foam tape on some of the backing tape here. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut these pieces down. We're going to add lots of foam tape to the back of this because we don't want it to sag anywhere. So we're going to cut all of these pieces out, or trim them down rather, and then we're going to add them here and there on the leaves and in any other places basically where you can get some foam tape. We are going to add foam tape. Oh yes, we are. So the reason I put it on the backing paper here is, in case you've never heard this before, if you try to cut foam tape with scissors when you just take it off the roll, you're going to get some of that sticky stuff on your scissors, and it's just no fun because it makes your scissors sticky and it's difficult to clean. So if you put your foam tape on a bit of backing tape, so this is from double-sided tape, and then you cut, it will stop the stickiness from sticking to your scissors. It's such a simple thing, but it really makes such a difference. Now, I actually had an idea here that I would splatter the background with a little bit of black watercolor. So just again to kind of bring in a little bit of more interest. There is also a little bit of like platinum watercolor on there just to bring in some sparkle, because, you know, I do like my sparkle as well. And then we're going to continue taking the backing tape off the foam tape here, and then we're going to place the flower kind of off from the pattern on the background. So it's going to be kind of like a shadow pattern, I guess. And a little bit of cleanup, and then we're going to move on to our sentiments, and there will be a little bit of bling as well because, you know, it adds sparkles and it adds texture, so I am all for it. Now, I wanted to kind of cover up the fact that one of the bottom leaves here actually got cut off because it didn't fit on the panel. So we're going to cover that quite cleverly with our thanks word die, and then we're going to tuck in that little "you're the best" slim strip as well, sort of behind there, so it says thanks, you're the best. And we're using a little bit of foam tape again here to kind of level everything up so that nothing is sagging. And here you will have to be a little bit careful because you don't want it to kind of overlap, so you get like a camel hump on your card. You want to try to keep everything the same level. So we're going to tuck in this sentiment. I hadn't quite realized that I wanted to do that just yet, so I had to trim it down quite small to be able to slide that in behind the thanks. But we're going to add a tiny bit of foam tape here to the the skinny banner as well, so that everything will be level and it's all going to be very kind of even. Is that the word I'm looking for? Everything is going to be the same level, basically, of the sentiment wise anyway. So that is a super duper little tip, just to kind of like keep everything even. I mean, I'm saying even so many times, I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. But now we are gonna add some sparkle, and these ones from the Smoky Quartz sparkle set is, honestly, I must order more pronto, because I'm going through these like nobody's business. You have some dark ones, you have some the middle kind of, they're like a nice kind of opaque silvery gray, and then there are some iridescent ones. And if you only ever get one pack of sparkle, this is the one. This is the one. I am telling you, Smoky Quartz for the win. But with a couple of more sparkles, yeah, because I can't kind of stick to like a normal level of sparkle. It has to be over sparkly. Our card is finished and our video is finished. I know it's been a little bit of a roller coaster today, but I really hope you have enjoyed this video and learned a couple of tricks, and will step outside of your comfort zone and with me and try some color combinations and add that sparkle. I'm telling you, Smoky Quartz, you won't regret it. But that is it from me for today. Thank you so much for stopping by. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you soon again. Bye for now.
Hey there, Lydia here. I really do hope that you've just enjoyed the video. If so, please subscribe to the Altenew YouTube channel. Also, turn on the notification bell so you can get your daily dose of crafty techniques and tutorials just like this. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.